Hi guys, welcome to my channel Made by Mackenzie. I'm Mackenzie and today we are going to be going through 5 paid patterns that I bought and just kind of see my reviews and what I thought of these paid projects of patterns. 4 of them are from Etsy and 1 of them is from Ribbler. I'll make sure and link the patterns down below, so if you guys are interested in purchasing these patterns you'll be able to find it easily. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into the video. These patterns are not in any particular order, like the first one that I show you isn't like my favorite and the last one I show you is my least favorite, or vice versa. It's just whatever I pull out of the bin first. So let's get started. The first pattern is by Happy Turtle Crochet off Etsy, and it's a rose turtle. I thought this would be such a cute pattern to do for Valentine's Day coming up. It's a cute turtle with a rose coming out of its shell. And you might be thinking, well, don't you already have a turtle pattern? I do. This turtle is from Rose and Lily. And the reason that I bought this pattern was 1, for the rose design, and 2, because her flippers and tail is crocheted into the project. On the rose, you crochet like 3 stitches and you crochet the flipper and the body together, which I thought would be wonderful for me because whenever I do Rose and Lily's pattern, you crochet and you leave a gap and then you put the flipper in and then you whip stitch it, like you fold it kind of like hold it together like a hamburger, and then you whip stitch it and connect it that way. But I feel like there have been many times where I have put my flippers on backwards and I've whip stitched very well to make sure it's nice and secure, and it took me forever to get it off, or I had to cut my flipper and crochet another flipper and then put it back on. So that's why I wanted one where it was crocheted on it. And so I really did like that, because whenever I did this turtle, I made this turtle, I did put my flipper on backwards, but it was so easy just to pull out my stitches, twist my flipper around, and then crochet back along. So I did really like that. The other thing about it is that this one is actually a little bit bigger, not even looking at the rose, but its face is bigger, its flippers are a little bit bigger. So you get a little bit bigger one here. The other thing that I noticed was, and I don't know if I like it or not, is that the flippers are farther away from his shell. I have a 2-finger kind of width, whereas with Rose and Lily's, the flippers are pretty much coming out exactly where the shell is. They get attached the row after you connect the shell, or you do the shell, you do a row, and then you connect the flippers. And so I think I like it better where there's a little bit less of a gap. So I'm wondering if I do this project again, if I can attach my flippers a row or 2 higher. But other than that, I really liked this project. I liked the rose on the back. I think it's super cute. I think it'll be adorable in different colors, like if I do a light green and then do a pink rose. It's super cute. So all in all, I really like this pattern. It was very easy to follow the instructions on the pattern, especially if you are new. The rose is done in the front loops, and so if you're using a chunky yarn like me, the pattern did recommend this, but I chose not to listen because I didn't have enough stitch markers. But it recommends you put a stitch marker on every row or every few front loops so that you don't get lost and miss any. But it also said that if you do happen to miss a stitch, to not worry about it, because rose petals aren't all identical and no one's going to be able to notice if you missed a couple of stitches because of how full and thick the rose petals are. So all in all, definitely a pattern that I will be doing again in different colors. But like I said, I might just make those few tweaks on it. But other than that, really like this one. Oh, and then with the rose one, so my normal turtles I sell for $20 at markets, the rose and lily one. And then the specialty ones, like this one, I'll probably sell for maybe 25. Because I have a sunflower one that I did with rose and lilies pattern. And they're 20. This one was 25. So I like having items that are similar to be the same price. I think it's just easier for customers to understand or to be accepting, I guess. So if I have this one at 25 and this one like at 28, 29, I mean, some people will totally understand the rose takes a lot more time, but I just like having everything nice and easy with the same pricing. So yeah, so these smaller ones with not the specialty shells, these ones are 20, and then these ones will probably be 25. My next pattern that I wanted to show you guys is this Dolphin pattern. This pattern was made by Crochet by Kitten Girl on Etsy. It was $5.41. Yeah, $5.41. Yes, it was $5.41. And this is a completely no-sew pattern. It is a big boy. I did it in the Bernat blanket with the gray and the white. So he came out really big, and I love him. He was a little bit difficult when it came to the nose part. I would say that this pattern would be like a advanced beginner or intermediate crocheter, or a beginner if you just want to challenge yourself, whatever. But just know whenever it comes to like the nose part, there is a lot of complicated increases and stuff like that. So like for example, the pattern will say like single crochet 2 increase, and that's in parentheses times 6, and then it'll say 5 single crochets increase, comma 2 single crochets, and that's in bracket parentheses, and then you put like all of it in a bracket where you have to do all of that over again. So it can be kind of easy to get lost. And so if you are a beginner that's kind of wanting to challenge yourself, or if you just think that might be a little bit complicated, I would recommend like actually writing out each step on a piece of paper and crossing it off as you go. So for example, if it said like whatever I said before, single crochet increase, and then single crochet increase, single crochet increase, and do all of that times 2, or put it down twice, and then do the next step and write it down and cross it off each line so that you don't get lost. Because I think I may have gotten a little lost whenever it came on the nose. It's a little bit bumpy. I don't know if that was because I didn't stuff it enough, which I thought I was stuffing it really well to make sure that it got its shape. Or it also just could be part of the pattern, because I don't know if you can tell, but it kind of looks like it was also kind of meant to be like almost little noses. So I don't know. Anyways, but super cute. I love him. I think he is going to look amazing in different colors. I think the next one that I'm going to do is I am going to do him in black and white and make him look like a killer whale. I'll add a little bit of like a magic ring of like 6 single crochets right here to add the white spot to him. And it's also going to be in a Bernat velvet. So that velvet's kind of got a little bit of a shimmeriness to it, and I think that'll look really good as a killer whale. And any other colors, like I feel like this is going to be such a fun pattern to do over and over again. So, but he did take me about 2.5 hours to do. If I do him again, I think he won't take me as long, especially since I'll be a little bit more mindful of those spaces that I have. The other thing is his tail. You leave a hole where his tail is, and then you come back and crochet his tail up and you split it for the flippers. That can be a little bit challenging, but these flippers are crocheted directly onto the project. So anyways, I do love him so much. I'm probably going to charge, I'm thinking anywhere between 40 and 60. I haven't quite decided what my price is going to be on him. I need to look at my stuff, and then I'll probably make another one, like my killer whale one, the small one, just to see if I got faster, and then make an informed decision from there. But I really like this guy. The next pattern that I have is this fox that I think is super, super cute. This fox is by Plushy Co Patterns on Etsy. It was $3.11. And this pattern can also be done instead of orange and black, it can be done in gray and white to make it look like a wolf. So I really do like this pattern. I've been looking for a wolf and fox pattern that I like because they're pretty similar. So it's like, if I can find one, then I can, just change the colors to make it look like the other. But I did really like this one. I like how he turned out. It did take me a good amount of time. Let's see here, how long did he take me? Because it's a lot of sewing involved. So you make the white part of his face, you sew the nose on to him, and then this top part is almost kind of like a hat that you crochet on, and then you make the body, his chest, his arms, his leg, his tail, and his ears. So it was quite a bit of sewing involved, but I was in the mood to sew, so it wasn't that bad. But time-wise, it took me, I feel like I was actually crocheting relatively quickly with him because the pattern was very easy to understand. It took me 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. Took me 2.5 hours. Most of that was the sewing all the pieces on. I think that I sewed his tail on maybe 1 or 2 rows too high. So that's the only thing that I think I personally did. It didn't actually give you a location to sew the tail. I just said sew the tail on. So I think what you should do with this pattern is it has you attach the tail before the legs. I think you should attach the legs and then the tail so that you have a better idea of where to go. So like if I had done that, I would have either definitely put the tail down lower, or I would have raised my legs up a little bit, maybe a little bit higher. But super cute. I really, really like him. Like I said, the pattern was very easy to follow, and I think this one will be a hit at markets. I'm thinking about selling him for $40. I think he might be $40 because with the time and materials, he comes to $30.30 with my time and the materials. So I think $40 is a good price for him. But again, we'll see. We'll see how he goes. But super cute. Really like him. So the next pattern that I have to show you is this jumbo stingray. It is so cute. It is so big. This pattern is by Thressa's Crochet Shop on Etsy, and I paid $3.84 for it. So big. Like, it is the size of my arm. It is so big. This one was made with the Sweet Snuggles yarn is what the pattern called for, and I mean, it came out so good. So good. The pattern is super, super easy to follow. This one was probably the easiest pattern to follow out of all of them. Everything was explained very clearly, and I love it. I love this pattern so much. Because it was made with the Sweet Snuggles, though, it will be probably one of my more expensive items. It cost $34.27, and it took me 2 hours to make. So $34.27 took me 2 hours to make, so this one is probably going to be $45 or $50, probably. My sea turtle, my jumbo sea turtle, is $50, right now, and he's practically the same size. So I'm thinking maybe $50 for him. But this one was a great pattern. I love it so much. She has a free one on YouTube of the smaller one, and the smaller one honestly really comes out just like this small compared to this big jumbo one, but love it so much. So check out that pattern if you have anyone who is a Stingray fan who needs like a big pillow. I love it so much. All right, the last one that I have in here is the one that might be my favorite, but also is the one that I'm kind of the most mad at. And I'll show you in a second. But it's this adorable Bulbasaur, strawberry Bulbasaur. And I showed my husband, and I was like, "You gotta see this Bulbasaur I made." And he's like, "That's not a Bulbasaur." I'm like, "What are you talking about? That's what the pattern says." And then he showed me what it actually is. It's an Ivysaur, apparently, is what the evolution of this is. But oh my goodness, this one was another one that took me forever. It took me 3.5 hours to make. Oh, sorry, this one was Crochet by Elle on Etsy. This one, or not Etsy, Ribbler. This was the only one that was on Ribbler. And it was an $8 pattern. And she was using like smaller, like almost, I think she was using the Bernat Velvet as the yarn that she was using in the pattern. And I chose Bernat Blanket and then the Sweet Snuggles Light for the leaves and the strawberry. But anyways, so I told my husband, he's like, that's not Bulbasaur, that's Ivysaur. I was like, oh, well, that's what the pattern said. The pattern did say if you wanted, you could put some like sprinkles, or not sprinkles, the seeds on the strawberry, but I don't want to do black. I think black would be too harsh, and I don't have like a light pink right now in a small gauge to put on that. So right now it's, I don't know if I'm going to add it or not. Comment down below if I should add seeds to the strawberry or if I should keep it as is. I don't know. But anyways, he took me 3.5 hours to make. It was a long process, and I was actually crocheting very quickly. This one, I thought it was easy to crochet, it was easy to follow the pattern, but it just took forever because of how much sewing was required. So you make the head, and then, actually first you make the body. So you make the body part. And I feel like, so you make all 4 of these feet, and then you crochet them around, and then you keep on going up and you leave a hole in the center. And you keep going up, you stuff it, you close the top, and then you come back and you close the bottom by doing a round of decreasing all those unworked stitches, and then you close the hole. And I feel like I'll probably do it again. If I do this again, then I'll do that round of decreases like it says, but then I'm also going to do another round of decreases because I feel like it closed too quickly. And my feet are like coming in like this instead of like sitting out, kind of like square. They're kind of going more in. So I think that is the only thing that I might actually change about it, the body part. So you sew the head onto the body, and you sew the ears onto the head, and then there are 7 leaves that you have to sew on, and then the strawberry, and then all the details on his body. So it was a lot of sewing, but he still came out super, super cute. I think I'm going to be charging $60 for him. I kind of want to charge more just because of how much sewing was involved, but I'm trying not to price my items in anger. I'm not angry. I mean, it took the time, and so if I want to charge, I was thinking, I told my husband, I was like, I'm going to charge $75 for him. I'm not even going to care if no one buys them because of how much work went into them. But that was that was kind of said in anger and frustration with just how much sewing that I had just gotten done. And so after putting him aside and letting my anger kind of settle, I'm probably still gonna, I'm gonna charge $60 for him. So let's check out so it took 3.5 hours to make. All the materials and my time was $45.37 in time and materials. It took me a whole skein and a little bit more with just this seafoam color. So that was, whenever I did my math, I'd used over a skein of this seafoam, and my Snorlax pattern is, I can get 2 Snorlaxes out of 1 skein, which was crazy. Anyways, so yeah, I'm probably going to charge $60 for him because of just all that sewing that was involved. I did have fun making him, except for that kind of the sewing part. Well, doing the designs on his body. I really liked playing around and doing the designs on his body. I liked that. But sewing the leaves on to this was kind of, it wasn't very fun, especially because it's the Sweet Snuggles light. And so there was so much fluff everywhere. I was trying to be as careful as I could, and I mean, it came out really cute. It did. It came out really cute. The next time I make it, what I probably will do is, I'm also going to try and do it in that Bernat Velvet, make it smaller. But what I'm going to do is I am going to sew the leaves, because the pattern says to sew the leaves to the body, but I think I'm going to sew the leaves to the strawberry first, and then sew that all onto the body. I think that might be a little bit easier because it was kind of hard to going around his head. But anyways, I absolutely love him. Super cute. This one, like I said, it was an $8 pattern, and most of the time I try to buy my patterns roughly around $5. But I really couldn't pass him up. He'd been in my cart for a while. I just kind of kept pushing back purchasing him because I wanted to make sure it was something that I really, really wanted, and so I kept coming back to it, and so I figured it was time to actually buy him, and I'm really glad that I did, and I love him, and like I said, he might not sell right away, and that's okay. I'm not going to be upset with him. He can definitely be one of my little buddies that comes with me to all of my markets, because I love him. I love him, and if no one buys him, that's okay. He can go up on my shelf behind me, or I can maybe make him for my husband or something like that. I also think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to not be a strawberry, to be the same color as the leaves, to make it look more like the real Bulbasaur instead of an Ivysaur. I think my husband said that people who really like Pokemon would be maybe more accepting of that. So that'll probably be what I do the next time that I make this project. But I'm super excited about that. But there is also a pattern hopefully coming out in the next month that I'm super excited about. It's going to be a dragon, and I bought some yarn. It is the Juicy Couture velour yarn, and I got it in black, and I got it in the navy blue, and I'm really excited about it because it's got these sparkles in it. It's very shiny. It's pretty similar to looks pretty similar to the Bernat Velvet, but I think it's going to look really good as a dragon. So I'm really excited about this dragon pattern that is going to be hopefully coming out really soon. It's not my pattern, some other creators' pattern, but I will do a review of that pattern when it comes out because I'm super, super excited about it. I've been waiting for a dragon pattern that I like. There's one that I use that I like right now, but once this new pattern comes out, I think it'll probably be the one that I use all the time. But I'm super excited about that. And you guys, thank you so much for watching. Comment down below which one you guys are most excited about trying out, whether it's the Bulbasaur, the Stingray, the Dolphin, the fox or wolf, or trying out one of Happy Turtle Crochet's like turtle patterns with different shells on them. So, but let me know what you guys like, and don't forget to comment and subscribe, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.